Hi, and welcome to Export Kit. In this example, we're going to create a hybrid application for Android, iOS, and Xamarin Forms using this template that we've received. From this template itself, and basically with any template that you get from a designer or even ones that you're working on with yourself, what you should do is sanitize almost specifically for Android. I can look at the artboards, and off the bat, you cannot have an artboard that starts with a number. So this should be news and possibly -1 or any other naming convention that you'd like, but just do not start it with a number. Another one I can look and tell is that we have activity. So rather than activity, let's call this main screen. Now, the reason is these are reserved words in Android. For instance, new, continue, etc. Java will use these words. You cannot have these as artboard or layer names. So now that we've done some basic sanitization, and we're assuming that we've sanitized everything, let's go to the plugin and let's create our Android app first, and then we'll move on to our Xcode and then our Xamarin. Now, because we're creating for multiple environments, what I would suggest is you select hybrid, because what this will do is convert all the SVG to images. Not all environments support SVG. So let's go ahead and let's export to Android first. Now, once it's complete, let's actually just copy our assets. Let's export iOS in the meanwhile. And let's create a new Android app. While this is building, we can actually just copy our files over. And XD has completed iOS. You'll notice it takes longer while you're doing other things on the computer, but that's okay. It still works. So let's export Xamarin. In the meanwhile, now that iOS, or actually I should say Android is finished, let's rebuild the project. Well, actually it's rebuilding itself, so we don't even have to do that. While this is rebuilding, let's open our iOS version. Let's take a look at Android. iOS is finished, so in the meanwhile, let's modify the project files to correct it, perform the changes. Let's deploy it to 12. Let's open the storyboard. Let's go back to Android. Build is still finishing. So you'll note that some of our images didn't load. Let's actually just check another file for, oh, sorry. I spoke too soon. So you can see that Android loaded completely. I was going to rebuild, but it builded itself. Builded. That's not a word. It built itself. Let's QA some other screens. I could tab over to iOS at the same time while I'm QAing Android. XD is not even completed yet. Let's check Xcode. Xcode is still loading. Next time I'll open these individually. Let's just check a few more. QA takes longer than the exports, that's for sure. Now you'll note that there's a little gap at the side, and this is something that we've explained in other videos how to correct. But you'll see quickly and easily, everything has rendered. Let's go to iOS. Oh, okay, iOS is complete, so let's do a little bit of QA. And you'll note that we can actually select every object because these are, well, let's let iOS process. I didn't want to go that deep into it. Let's just QA. So you'll see everything came out pixel perfect, and the rendering looks more like the screen size was designed for iOS, not for Android, but that's okay. Like I said, we do have tutorials for how to convert directly to Android using their screen specifications. Is XD completed? Oh, XD is still converting. Oh, as I spoke. So let's actually test our Visual Studio now. So what we're going to want to do first with Visual Studio is create a new project. Let's go to multi-platform, blank forms app. Now we're only targeting iOS, but you can already tell that we can easily create Android. But you can target anything you'd like in Visual Studio. You can also target Windows. So while that's creating, I know we're going to need our pages, so let's copy that. So let's go to our Visual Studio project. What we want to do is copy our pages into our direct project. We want to copy our images. Now, if you're using Windows, you would copy the assets. If you're using Android, you would copy the res. But let's just go into our iOS project. We're going to copy the images first. Then we're going to update our image assets. So let's simply select all, copy, close the text file, open Sublime, or your editor of choice. You can pretty much use any text editor. And let's look for the storyboard, the launch screen storyboard. Give it an enter and paste. Save. You can minimize or close, completely up to you. Now let's go back to Visual Studio. Let's go to our pages and let's give it a QA. Let's go to the preview. And once Visual Studio has completed loading, you'll see that we have each of our actual form pages now rendering perfectly. Let's QA a couple. Now you'll see size again as denoted. This is something that you can correct with our responsive screen sizes. Let's just QA a couple more pages. You'll note that what Visual Studio does differently is it will actually pre-buffer all the rendering. So that's why it took a little bit longer, but it's actually now much faster to preview sections once rendered. So see here, quick and easily, we created a hybrid app for virtually all the predominant environments for Android, iOS, and Visual Studio within a couple of minutes with a couple of clicks.